Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. The great Gary Gulman is here. Gary, I apologize. Due to contractual obligations, we have to play this.
Manning takes a knee. That's it. Manning quickly runs over to Brady in the two shake. Peyton Manning at 37 years of age and the author of the best single-season numbers for a quarterback in NFL history has led his team to the Super Bowl.
All right.
Super Bowl 48.
So, you're a big Pats fan.
A huge Pats fan.
I mean, listen. Here's the thing. Brady had the flu. It was documented. He really seemed like he didn't show up, right? I mean, what happened there?
Yeah. He's done this in a few playoff games over the years. I can't ignore it.
He got the 3 rings early, and it seems like he just settled into Giselle, and that's it, right?
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. I mean, I can't fault the guy.
Although the guys in Boston they resent her so much.
I know.
Oh, they just despise her.
He's not
because he went outside the community for a kid.
Well, that's Springsteen's first wife.
What's wrong with the girls from Upper Via Beach?
Well, a couple times.
What's wrong with those girls that take you for a roast beef sandwich? And everything, kid.
A lot of hot chicks.
What, we're not good enough for him? He's drinking espresso.
Scumbag.
Guys from Boston never say espresso. They're afraid to say that many S's in a row.
That's Jersey. Jersey does that.
For fear that they might lisp one by mistake, and God knows what happens if you lisp espresso by mistake. But
they're a special kind of blue collar guy.
That was crushing. But I'll tell you what has to be more crushing is to be an Indianapolis Colts fan.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
How many points could he have put up?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's that high altitude thing that helped him this year that I tell myself, but in a dome, all those games, he would have.
You're right. He would have crushed.
If you're the Colts, they got rid of him just at the right time, just like the Sox did with Clemens.
But I tell you, bring up such a great point about Boston guys. That's why I love him. My girlfriend bought me a scarf, and I played the Wilbur Theater the week in between Christmas and New Year's, and I had the scarf on, and I'm coming out of the Wilbur Theater, and a couple of guys are there. They want me to sign the book, and I hear a guy go, "Artie, I didn't have you pegged as a scarf guy."
Nice scarf. That's all it would take, and it would be devastating.
And I was like,
just nice scarf.
I said, "Get this off of me. Get this off of me." It was as if I was making out with Ryan Seacrest.
The only thing you could have had on your shoulders that was queerer than that, pal, would have been Clay Aiken or some guy like that. I mean, seriously, why don't you throw a sweater over your shoulders while you're at it?
You pegged as
Pashmina.
You mo. What?
Pegged as a scarf guy.
What is that, merino wool?
Yeah. There's an episode of Louis C.K. show where he gets into a fender bender. He's up in Boston visiting his dad. He gets to a fender bender with like a hardcore Boston guy just coming from the gym, and he just like cracks on every article of his clothing. It's queer. It's like a mo. Not exactly what you just said.
Yeah, dude. Kid, buddy, pal, guy, bro, brother.
Do you miss it there? I love Boston.
I love it. Yeah. I love going back. It's not right that I should spend so much time in the room that I grew up in, but I go back. I'm going back next Monday.
You still have the family home and everything?
Yeah, my mother still has. My room is the same.
That's
with
great.
With the Beastie Boys on the wall. The Beastie Boys, my Larry Bird awful poster sitting on the nest.
That's awesome.
He was sitting on the nest with the trucker hat.
What team did you live and die with the most? Celtics, Pats,
Celtics,
or the Sox?
Celtics. My generation, it was Celtics because it was Bird.
They were good.
It was Bird.
Yeah.
It was McHale.
Parrish.
They were Parrish. They were unbelievable.
We used to have this conversation. I feel the ugliest championship team of all time might be the '86 Celtics.
Oh my God!
Can you think of an uglier team?
You had Walton, who had that jaw.
Right, Bird, not a good-looking man. McHale with that cranium.
Not a handsome man.
Not a handsome man. Robert Parrish, the chief. I mean, he looks like a chief.
Yeah, he was
with that cranium. Like, just an odd.
Yeah, when Jerry
team.
Seasting is the playboy of the club, when Scott Wedman is the sexiest man on the team.
Bill Walton.
Yeah.
Oof.
But that '86 team, I'll put them up against anybody.
The biggest tragedy of the '80s is that the '86 Lakers didn't make it to that championship. I still think Bird would have beat them, but that would have been a series, man. They beat Houston.
That Ralph Sampson.
Well, all right, they beat Houston, which is still a great series. But Lakers in '86 against the Celtics.
But the Lakers would do that sometimes. I remember they did the same in '81. They lost.
Well, you can't get laid that much if you're Magic and make it every year. I mean, he had to be a little distracted. The amount of broads.
But we hated Jabbar.
Japan.
I mean, the fact that he had the Muslim name and he was a stoic, miserable man.
Right.
Oh, you couldn't have hated a guy more than
I just
than
love
Jabbar.
Boston heckle. I went to the old Boston.
And he
Garden
was
once.
wicked book smart. We do not like book smart in Boston. Book smart. You book smart? No, kid. I'm hetero. I'm not book smart. You ask me a bunch of questions. I'm getting them all wrong. But I'll tell you what I can do. If you get locked out of your house, I can get you in with a credit card or a brick. Most often a brick.
I'm not book smart. I'm straight.
I'm street smart.
I love guys who heckle at Celtic games because they look like me and sound like Sue Costello. Gotta take a break. What are you plugging? You plugging something?
My special's on Netflix.
When is that? What's it
It's
called?
on right now.
What's it called?
Right after this show, it's on. It's called In This Economy.
Is that
Yeah, that's what it's called. My mother would always say that whenever I spent money on a cab. Why don't you get a hooker while you're at it? You're getting a cab. In this economy? Gary?
A rhetorical comedic question. The Artie Lange Show. Gary Gulman after this. My next guest, my current guest is Wicked Smart. His Netflix special airing now called In This Economy.
Wait till after we finish with this to put it on, to stream it.
Yeah. And again, your mother used to say that again. My mother would say when I go to New York, she would say, "What about AIDS?" Very close-minded.
We really knew how to contract it. The mothers really knew how you got it. Don't share a glass with anybody.
Well, no. My mother watches Dr. Oz. This was like clockwork for a while. Dr. Oz would come on, say 10 o'clock in the morning. At 11:02 a.m., I would get this voicemail or something like it. Artie, it's Mom. I just watched Dr. Oz. You still eat butter, right? Call me!
All right, let me tell you my feelings on Dr. Oz because my mother is a huge fan of Dr. Oz. Every guy needs to watch one episode of Dr. Oz because he does tell you exactly what you need, but it's the same episode every day. What you need to do is he tells you what shape your duties should be in. They should be in S shape, which I don't know. When you get to be our age,
S.
Yeah, when you get to be our age. You just want something to come out once a day.
Regularly.
To be doing sculpture.
I want something to get out of my body.
Yes. Yeah. And now there's pressure on it, and it's. And the other thing is, you're wearing scrubs, Oz. You just got out of the OR. You were just in the makeup chair, you phony. You phony. Put on a blazer.
I know. Does that make people trust him more as a doctor or something?
Makes me trust him less.
Me too.
The entertainer.
I agree. That's what the show.
Put on a blazer, Mehmet.
The show the doctors used to do the same thing.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, it's completely phony.
That's odd. I guess for easy access to bang interns. Now, what do you think of the Richard Sherman thing? All the football talking about this.
I preferred superstar Billy Graham's post match. Too sweet to be sour, the man of the hour. 6'4", 225 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I preferred that. It was clear. I know what he's trying. I think he's trying to do the Deion Sanders. He's trying to do the Deion Sanders thing, but he doesn't have any rhymes.
You're right.
He doesn't have any. There's no beatbox. He's missing out.
Well, let's rate this. You'll get an NFL guy. Is he as good as Deion? I mean, Deion may be the greatest cornerback of all time.
Yet, no.
I mean, that guy is amazing, Sherman. But is anybody like Deion?
No.
No.
No. Deion was so fast, so much faster than anyone on the planet that he would just run as fast as he needed to, and that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like he could just toy with you, do whatever he wanted. The game was so slow for him, literally, because he was so fast.
Like a man,
and he never
tackled.
It was simple. You know what?
Because he didn't need to? Is that it? Or, I mean, he needed to, but...
He did
He didn't need to. All right,
he
but,
did.
But he was...
He had a bad
He didn't really tackle.
Later in his career,
He didn't
maybe
really have to.
Maybe
that was
he
my
made some
point.
executive decisions later in his career.
And I don't blame him.
I'm just hoping his...
He was so
That was
good.
my least favorite part of
I'm
the
hoping
sport.
his duty wasn't an S shape.
Yeah. Well,
For Sanders. That's right.
The other thing Oz says is it shouldn't smell.
really?
Where's he
Yeah.
coming from?
Why?
He's coming from Whole
How?
Foods. Yes, if you can buy everything at Whole Foods, maybe it won't smell because you're putting enough mint into it. But
Mike, what letter are your duties?
W.
now he's passing question marks, I heard.
Sometimes explanation marks.
Ellipses.
How about this? Sometimes it's a colon. How about that?
I love the wordplay.
Nice.
That's right up Bichetti's alley.
When you riff at a table
I'll tell
like
you,
this,
that
that's what happens.
Visconti Bichetti feud.
Yeah.
It's
comedy feud.
that is going to be like San Martino's Abisco. I mean, that is going to be
it's
huge.
like Kinnis and Dice in the late
Yes.
80s. Right.
Yes, that feud. Is there any way you can unsubscribe from Gino's picks? Is there any way? I
you
don't think there
taking
is
a
because
feud-
I didn't subscribe in the first place. He must have just put my name
As a
in.
well-known comic, a successful guy, are you taking a side in the Boschetti Visconti feud? Are you declaring anything?
I am. I'm taking Bichetti's side.
Thank you, Gary. Gary always did because when I was on Last Comic, he stuck up. He
gotta
always
go.
a good guy.
I do.
No, did you really?
Yep.
Well, you guys were on at the same time?
No,
Comics
no.
thing?
I was on the first one in full with Gary. We were talking about several people on there that were knuckleheads to us.
When he told me he was on that, I thought it was comics who can't stand. But it's
No, it's
comics with the gout.
the gout.
Dugout. Now, that's right. You did very well on that, right, Gary? Did you?
I came in third.
I mean, that's a
it's
lot
not
of
bad.
exposure.
Yeah, it was great exposure.
Now, did you lose to the Asian kid?
No, I lost to the Black.
The guy with the scat.
Alonzo Bowden and John Heffron won.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, John Heffron won.
Is he around still? He's still working?
Yeah, I think he's around.
What was the
He's-
name? What was the name of the Asian kid who won it all the first year? Like, remember?
Da Fan.
That fan, right?
Yes.
What happened to him?
I don't know. I think he's a substitute teacher or something. I don't know.
He's point guard on Dennis Rodman's basketball
Where
team.
are they now? He's point guard on Dennis Rodman.
We got to take a break. Back, Gary Gulman. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Let's get this out of the way so we can talk to Gary for a couple straight minutes. I want to say thank you to Lee Steinberg. His book is The Agent, Ala Abdel Nabi, Bonnie Bernstein, always great. Gary Gulman's here on Netflix. The special's called In This Economy. And so now, what are your predictions now for the Super Bowl? You're a sports guy. What are you thinking?
I would take Seattle.
You go with the defense?
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Depending on the weather, the defense, the running.
Are you hoping for a crazy? I mean, every comic should probably hope for a crazy snow game, unless you're taking Seattle on the points.
cool.
But
I don't know.
I love watching it in the snow.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
fun
very
to-
exciting.
Yeah.
is there an
I
early
love
line?
that.
Is there an
It's
early
exotic.
line?
I haven't heard.
Anybody see an early line?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it in a second. We're completely hooked up.
I do think
completely
that
hooked up computer-wise.
I
did the,
guarantee that's
I'm
going to
sorry.
change drastically as we get closer and we find out what the weather
weather
Yeah,
is
you're
gonna
right,
be.
it
Yeah,
should.
definitely.
it really makes a big
Yeah.
difference
It
in
should,
this game.
Yeah, I can't believe they're having it in New York.
But I'm rooting for Peyton because I like Peyton. I think he seems to be a good guy. I like to see him get a second win.
Yeah, I would
and I like
too.
offense, but I tend to agree with you. After seeing that game, I think Seattle, if they can get anything going offensively,
And they get Percy Harvin back,
Right,
So
they're
they
in good shape.
they will have more going offensively.
the
Broncos are favored by 3 currently, but there's been a ton of movement already.
Broncos favored by 3, which basically means
Wow.
Oh wow! So Broncos by 3.
And what's the line on the Pro Bowl?
Now they were dominant in that game.
Pro Bowl's always
Yeah.
like AFC minus 82 or something. Gary, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Again, the Netflix special is
I really appreciate that.
In This
And I'll
Economy.
take you up on that. Thank
Anytime.
you. Thanks, guys.
The Artie Lange.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.